What's up, guys? Today we are going to be talking about the newest Stephen King adaptation, The Lone Walk. And although I haven't seen all of Stephen King's movies, this is one of my favorites. I absolutely loved this film walking out of the theater, and I'm so happy it's getting the praise it deserves. But you may be asking, hey, what makes this film so great? Well, I'm about to tell you, so hold on. But before we get started, real quick, please just write in the comments your thoughts about the film, because I'm curious to hear other people's opinions. And also, as of recording this, I'm at 99 subscribers, and it would be really cool to reach 100 subscribers. So please make sure to subscribe, because I will be giving my 100th subscriber 1 quintillion Robux, which is freaking awesome, dude. But anyway, let's just jump right into why this film rocks. First of all, the most obvious reason is just the duo rocks. David Johnson and Cooper Hoffman just have so much chemistry together, it's just so good, and they're such good actors. I'm currently watching Cooper Hoffman in Licorice Pizza, and he's just so amazing in that role, so I knew he was going to be amazing in this role. And also, David Johnson in Alien Romulus was just amazing. So I was so happy to see these two actors act together, and they were as amazing as I thought they would be, and more. Like, Cooper Hoffman's acting though, walking up that hill, the hill scene, just amazing, dude. And David Johnson just brought so much depth to his character, because I feel like if it was another actor portraying the character, it could have been a really flat character. But just with how much emotion he puts into the character and how much he seems to understand it, it all just comes off as genuine emotion. Also, Ben Wayne's character is just amazing. And I know I keep on saying everyone was amazing in this film, but they were. They're on like god tier level acting. By the way, I will be discussing spoilers. Just a heads up, so if you haven't seen this film, please just go see it and come back to watch this video. Or just go watch the film, please. But when Ben Wayne's character is dying and you start screaming, I didn't do it right, bro, I was about to like cry. Really, every actor in this film is just giving their best performance, and you can see it on screen. Luke Skywalker was in this film, by the way. It was pretty cool. But now we're going to talk about the score. I loved the score in this. The score just always gave this like dystopian vibe, if that makes any sense. But it always came with a different emotion. Like, I know I already brought it up, but the score just made like the incline scene 1,000 times more intense. It also just made the emotional beats in this film just so impactful. Like how the score at the end sounds ever so slightly different from the score in the beginning, but it's more somber, which fits the vibe of the ending. The ending was very sad. I was about to bawl my eyes out in the middle of the theater. Also, I just want to talk about how like good and insightful the themes were, even though at times they were a bit obvious, which like, chat, media literacy is dying, so we'll take what we can get. Also, by the way, I haven't read the book, so I didn't know what I was going in for, but I thought this was kind of going to be almost exactly like The Hunger Games in a way. I was especially worried when I saw that they even had the same, they had the director from The Hunger Games. But this film ended up standing on its own. To end my positives, I just want to say this film does such a good job at being dark when it needs to, but also such a good job at being beautiful when it needs to. Like, there are multiple scenes in this film that are very, very disturbing, but then there are just moments that are so beautiful. Like at one moment, you could see a person with a broken foot still trying to walk because they don't want to die. And then the next moment, it's just a couple boys singing, you know? And the rainbow scene was just... the rainbow scene was amazing. Raymond's character arc is just absolutely amazing, because halfway through, the reason for why he's on the Lone Walk goes away. So for a while, he doesn't even know why he's doing this. But Raymond's and Peter's friendship just keeps them moving forward. Also, there's just a ton of good lines in this film, but I haven't seen enough love for I Have Been Walking All My Life. That hit so hard. Also, just Hank Olsen's I Did It Wrong. I know I already praised it before, but it was just gut-wrenching. Also, I know I said earlier I was going to end the positives, but I have one more thing, okay? Just wait a second. I'll get to the negatives soon. But normally when you have a film with this many characters, it often seems cluttered, and a lot of the characters seem to have the same voice, you know? But in this, every character has a distinct voice. Love them or hate them, they all seem super unique, and they all evolve over the course of this film, which is something I applaud. Also, this film really knows how to make you like tense up. I was on the edge of my seat almost this entire film. And what I like is it doesn't over-explain the Lone Walk, it just gives you the bare minimum of information you need to know. This will be the last of my positives actually, but they just make you hate the villains in this film. I feel like lately a lot of studios are actually scared to make their villains, but in this film, you get why they're villains. They're absolute villains. And another thing I don't like about modern villains is when the villain is actually a villain, you don't get to see any of the villaining happening. All the villainous things the villain normally does is, in most films nowadays, just told to you. But boy, does this film show the villains doing some villainous things. By the end of the film, I absolutely hated the villains. And lately it seems like a lot of films have been having a hard time with that. So good job, The Lone Walk. Anyway, now I will actually be getting into the negatives. My first critique with this film isn't really something that can control due to the setting, but there's a lot of telling and not a lot of showing. Besides with the villains. But a lot of the things you end up knowing about these kids is just because it's told to you. And I know a movie, especially with this many characters, like, I give it some leeway. Just because, you know, the plot kind of demands that they stay on the walk. They have to keep on walking. Also, another thing I didn't like was the editing. There was just some moments where I found it a bit jarring and it kind of took me out of the story. Also, the writing was pretty good overall, but there's just some cases where it just felt like too expository, if that makes any sense. And also there were times where a character said something a bit too cliche, but most of the times these characters were like spitting out bangers. So I can be okay with a little bit of cliche here and there. So anyway, The Lone Walk is an epic, emotional filled story, and it somehow makes walking interesting. So just for that, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. That seems like a fair rating. So anyway, please like and subscribe. Please comment your opinions on the film down below. And goodbye.